family Iridium. Hope you're doing all right today. I've got an album review for you. This isn't one that I had planned to review, but I've got some great subscribers, and Andrew Barker being one of them, messaged me. I think it was on a comment under one of my other videos. Have you heard Blacktop Mojo's album? Never even heard of the band, so I said to him, I'll give it a go. And he said, if you like that southern sort of rock sort of vibe, you might like this band. So I listened to this album yesterday. I'm blown away, man. And I'm thinking about doing a program about, is there too much music now? Something along them lines. Is there too much to listen to? That is a topic that needs discussing. But when the music's as good as this, that's a good argument to have more and more and more. And this is one amazing album. I'm so impressed with this album. This was released Friday, so 13th of August. So it's not as if I didn't know anything about it, but I'm only a few days late, so that's cool. This is actually a self-titled album, but it's not their debut. This is their fourth album. They've also had an EP out. So been around a little while, since 2012. They're from Texas. So I've got to say though, the southern element is there in certain songs. It's not fully through the song. So if you're worried about that, if you like your southern rock, there's only elements of it in certain songs, which I'll go through each song anyway. So there's a lot for everyone on this album, man. This is real heavy rock. It's definitely a guitar-driven album. The production, and I was trying to look who's produced this album and mixed the album. I know it's a self-released title, so I'm not sure if they've done the production on it as well. But it's a huge sound on this. The guitars, like I said, really cut through. There's real heavy parts to this. There's really mellow parts. They use acoustic guitars, which is always a plus for me. So they obviously are a heavy rock band, and they mix it up between clean guitar and heavy guitar, but when they nearly always use acoustic on the lighter parts, which is always a plus for me, like I said, and it makes the heavy parts super fucking heavy. I love this album on first listen. It got me straight away. It gave me so much variety, and like I said, you've got certain southern parts to it, but there's also other bands, the bands I would say that, for fans of. So I always talk about if anyone, likes this band, who else would they listen to? Some of the bands I would say, and it's hard to pinpoint them because they do cover a variety of, it's all heavy rock, but they sound different in a lot of songs. Blackstone Cherry, probably talking about Blackstone Cherry, their first few albums, which I think are their classic albums. Alter Bridge for sure. A bit of Dirty Honey. Mason Hill, which is more, them two bands are sort of more recent bands. Shinedown, the heavier parts of Shinedown. Shinedown go a little bit poppy sometimes, but we're talking more the heavy rock sort of side of Shinedown. And let me run you through the band members who are fucking brilliant. So you got Matt James on the vocals. Man, his voice is amazing, so soulful. He really's got some energy in his voice. He reaches some great highs as well. He's got that sort of voice that really suits this music, this sort of modern, heavy rock. Some would call it post-grunge. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's definitely them bands that I mentioned. You can imagine them on a bill with those bands. That's what I'm saying. It's that sort of music. So more of the modern-ish type bands, although some of them bands I've mentioned have been around for a lot of years now. But these would be really suited to be on a bill with those bands, for sure. So Matt James, amazing vocalist, soulful, powerful. Nathan Gillis on the drums. Him and Matt Curtis on the bass, they're fucking brilliant. They just keep it so tight throughout. And the sound of the bass, the tone of the bass and the drums is perfect. It's just a proper good hard rocking album, this. And that bass and drums is so important It's up in the mix, it's heavy, that's how you want it. Last but not least, the two guitarists, Ryan Kiefer and Chuck Wepfer. Man, I'll tell you what, these guys blast out some fucking brilliant riffs, but at the same time, this is some of the best guitaring I've heard solo-wise as well. And sometimes in these sort of bands, these modern post-grunge band, whatever the fuck you want to call them, sometimes the guitar solos are not outstanding. They're like jammy, if you like. Not on this. These are fucking brilliant guitar solos. They come in and out of twin leads sometimes. They exchange guitar solos. And I think the solos were really blowing me away nearly on every single song on here. It's a brilliant, brilliant album. So Andrew Barker, mate, you've fucking got me here. This is a brilliant, brilliant album. So you subscribers, keep this up, honestly, because sometimes a gem comes up, like this one, that I've missed. And I fucking love it. I love this album. Apparently, this is, reading some reviews as well, which I did after I've listened to the album. They're saying they've sort of honed their sound now. They didn't really know which direction they were going on the first few albums. This is what I've read anyway, that they were, and Andrew himself said they were sort of like sounded a bit AC/DC-ish, that sort of band. Like there's a lot of bands around at the moment. There's none of that on here. This is like their own thing, but they've really fucking excelled themselves. Well, I don't know what their other music sounded like, but this album is fucking fantastic. Okay, so let's go through the tracks quickly. Wicked Woman kicks it off. What an amazing track. This was a single. Just straight away, the riffing hits you so fucking heavy. This does remind me a little bit of Blackstone Cherry. Like I said, early Blackstone Cherry. It's a medium pace song, great heavy guitar driven track. Just the way a opener should be. The solo, straight away on this first track, is brilliant. And you've got them twin lead parts, like I said, mixed in, coming in and out. Fucking love it. One of the strongest tracks on the album, actually. Wicked Woman's amazing. Bed Tundy's next, obviously a play on Ted Bundy. After a short sort of little intro, and it goes into a heavy chugging riff through the verses. This gives more of a classic rock feel to me. That's how it feels to me for some reason. And another guitar heavy track with another amazing solo. Good, really good song, Bed Tundy. Next is Latex. So this slows it down a little bit. Things get a little bit more mellow after a real sort of amazing sort of heavy start. Starts with an acoustic beginning, this one. The tone that Matt James has got on his voice in that lower range is so fucking good. I mean, he cuts through the mix with his tone alone. It's just fucking brilliant. The chorus comes in heavy, but still sort of the song's at a slower tempo, so it doesn't speed up, but it gets heavier. And it goes back and forth, acoustic, electric, like that. The band do an excellent job of sort of creating an atmosphere, like they're doing a lot of songs on this in Latex. It's a fucking excellent song. Rewind is next. Great build at the beginning of this one with just the guitar and vocalist. This is like a slow to medium pace song. The guitar's sort of not so prominent in this, so it's like down in the mix, but it almost shows that the band are far from a one-trick pony. They can do a lot of different styles, and this one isn't quite as heavy rock as the others, but I still love the track. It's a great chorus that sort of grows as the song goes on. Jealousy is next. This is a fucking brilliant song. Slow to medium pace again, acoustic opening, and this is so effective because when the chorus hits, it's fucking ramps up the heaviness, because when that electric guitar comes in, a really simple chorus, but one of my favourites. It really gripped me straight away, and if it's one of my favourites on this album, this is an album full of great choruses, and so far this was like one of my favourite choruses. That's saying something. Make Believe is next. This is like an acoustic guitar with like 1 minute 21 seconds bit. It's like a little interlude sort of thing, bit of Spanish guitar playing. Although it doesn't really do much for me because it's one of them. It's just like a little filler sort of track between tracks. I think it just shows how good these guys are on the guitar. That's what it shows. But it's like 1 minute 21 seconds. Now that leads into one of the best songs on the album, Darling, I Won't Tell. So this is acoustic guitar with vocals at the beginning for about a minute, and into those fucking heavy riffs again, then drifts in and out of light heavy or light and shade, like I like to say. This has a real sort of cool southern vibe to it. The first time I really felt that southern vibe for me. It's an amazing song. The chorus is outstanding again. So that's a real excellent track, Darling, I Won't Tell. Do It For The Money's next, another great track, sort of a sludgy southern heavy riff going on, almost Sabbathy, almost like Down, the band Down, Phil Anselmo, that sort of heaviness going on in this. Man, the guitar tone here is outstanding. It's got a real heaviness to it. It's doomy, it's sludgy, it's amazing. Man, this is great stuff. It really is. You honestly got to hear this album. And another brilliant chorus. Choruses are so important. This band knows what a good chorus is. Hold Me Down is next. The southern vibe is even stronger on this one. So all of a sudden you're hitting like 3 tracks that have, or a couple that have got a little southern vibe. This one feels really like a southern vibe to me. It's really strong on this one. The song rides along on such a cool groove. Heavy southern ballad, I would say. It's amazing solos so far, but I think this could be my favourite solo on the whole album. It's just amazing. This is definitely, it's like a ballad. It's one of my favourite tracks on the album, for sure. And there's lots of favourite tracks on the album. Next up is Cough. This song definitely has a little, this is probably the most grungy sort of track, I would say. Didn't get any grunge vibes for me out of any other tracks apart from this one. It's got a post-grunge feel to it, I suppose. Probably the only song, like I said, like that for me on the whole album. Easily, I'd say the weakest track on the album, although it's not bad. It just doesn't live up to the rest of the album for me. But, you know, that doesn't mean anything. It's just one track. It's a medium-paced song. It's okay. It just doesn't live up to what the rest of the album does. Simple as that. Next up, track 11, Stratus Melancholia. Brilliant track. Right back in, you know, hitting the heights again. Almost doomy feel to this. This is probably the darkest song on, you know, feel that I've got on the album. Sort of the most dark song I can tell. I love the slow medium pace. It brings out some real heaviness with those doomy riffs. Brilliant song. This band sort of brings so many different genres to their album. It's all mixed in, but it's all in, like I said, in that heavy rock sort of vibe. Another great solo, sort of takes the song out, and then we lead into the last track. Watching the taillights fade up the street as the sun sinks low. Man, this is again a really strong song. It's a ballad. It's sort of like vocal performance here is just incredible. Such a soulful voice this guy's got. A beautiful tone. It's got a great mellow tune, but this is all about the vocals here. This is all about this guy's, I think it's Matt James, isn't it? I think I said. It's all about Matt James, I think, this actual song. He reaches some heights here in this song which are just incredible. His range is outstanding. This is probably the most emotional song on the album, and that's saying something. It really is. As an added bonus, you get another amazing solo. So, man, I know I keep saying it. I keep saying albums are coming along this year, and I keep saying that's going to be in my top 10. That's going to be in my... This album blew me away. It really did. The variety you get, the heaviness you get, but then they mix up with different emotions. They do lighter stuff and heavy stuff within the same song. It takes you by surprise. Each song was hit. I was thinking, oh fucking hell, that's great. They've done a song like this now. They've done a song like that now. You've got to listen to this album, guys. Honestly, if you love them bands I spoke about as well, Alter Bridge, Blackstone Cherry, Dirty Honey, Mason Hill, Shinedown, you love all them bands. That sort of modern, melodic, heavy rock stuff. You're going to love this. Highly, highly recommended. Blacktop Mojo, self-titled album, only out last Friday. These guys deserve a break. Get it. I'll see you next time.